there is one technique I'm going to teach you in this video that will allow you, from a shuffled deck, to know exactly where the aces are and then be able to deal them. And that sounds impossible. The deck is fairly shuffled by a spectator, and then you, the magician, take the cards and look at them for just a few seconds. And then immediately, you are able to deal the cards one by one and place 4 cards to one side. There is no way you could possibly have had time to memorise the position of the 4 aces, and yet miraculously, the cards you dealt are the 4 aces. This is quite simply dealing to 4 aces from a shuffled deck. It needs no other name. Welcome to today's video. We're going to do this under test conditions. So, the deck is shuffled. It could be your deck, it could be anyone's deck. We just mix the cards like so. And now, I'm going to look at the deck for a few moments. At every card. Okay, I think I've got it. Okay, now hopefully I've done this right. I can't see any aces, but okay. Here we go. Just from the positions alone, I went through the cards. I dealt 4 cards face down. You shuffled the deck. Could have been any order. And yet somehow, all 4 aces have been dealt. So there we have a performance of dealing to 4 aces from a shuffled deck. And this is the sort of trick that looks like it should require setup, it should require sleight of hand, it should be complicated. And while this trick will take time to master, I'm not claiming this is the easiest trick in the world, and it certainly isn't self-working. It is a lot simpler than you're probably imagining, because I went through lots of methods when I did this, that maybe there was some way I could hold the aces out, maybe as I went through the cards I culled the aces to the top and I dealt them in some way there, or I controlled them to the bottom. There were lots of options here. And then I thought, how about I actually do it? So you're going to tell one lie during this trick. You're going to tell one lie that will convince the audience that you're doing one method when you're actually doing another method that isn't that different. So there is one technique I'm going to teach you in this video that will allow you, from a shuffled deck, to know exactly where the aces are and then be able to deal them. And that sounds impossible, but it's really simple. So we have the deck of cards here. And just to make it fair, once again, I will shuffle it, and then I'll show you exactly what this technique is. Because when I'm looking through the cards, I am looking for the aces, of course I am, but I'm not memorising where the aces are. I'm memorising what card is above the ace. So we scroll through the deck, and there's the first card to remember. So obviously I've struck an ace here, but the card I'm actually remembering is this, the Jack of Diamonds. So I remember the Jack of Diamonds and I move on. And then this card, the King of Clubs. And then the next ace is this one, the 8 of Diamonds. So again, above, which is in my case to the left, the 8 of Diamonds. So we've got the Jack of Diamonds, the King of Clubs, the 8 of Diamonds, and the Queen of Clubs. And with those 4 cards in my head now, and that will take some practice actually, the reason I say this trick will take practice is remembering those cards is actually quite difficult. And you watching this video, do you remember what the 4 cards were? It's interesting because even as you're talking or as you're watching something else or reacting to the spectators around you in performance, although it's only 4 cards, that will take practice. In your head, what you want to do is repeat those cards over and over. But what I actually think is a lot more helpful is reversing the order of the cards. So not only have you got to remember 4 cards, you've now got to reverse them, which in my case is Queen of Clubs, 8 of Diamonds, King of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds, yeah? If I've got this wrong, I apologise because I'm filming a video and I'm taking a lot more time than I normally would over this. But I've been doing this for quite a while, so hopefully when you strike, there, that's one of them. When you strike a card, you need to deal 1 to the side. So Queen of Clubs is the first one. The next one I know is going to be the 8 of Diamonds, which is here. So I place 1 card to the side and I carry on. The next one is the King of Clubs. So again, all I'm looking for now is the King of Clubs, and I can straighten up, that was the King of Spades, slightly false start there, and I put that to the side. The final one is the Jack of Diamonds. And at this point I like to slow down, as if it's getting harder and harder for me. I place 1 card to the side, I can continue to deal some cards, but then I can stop, I can look over here, and I can spread these out. And they will see there's no aces there. And you can even point out there are no aces. I've not seen any aces. And you spread them out. And as soon as you've said that, people are now expecting, they know what this is. The finale of this trick is not a surprise to anyone. They know what this is, but there's still this tension that you might have somehow got it wrong. I like to take my time at this point and recap. The deck was shuffled and all of those things, you know, 4 cards face down, completely random. There's no way, I like to emphasise this, there's no way I could have memorised the position of the 4 aces. And yet, and I turn them all over at the same time. That's just what I do. You can turn them over one by one if you wish, add a bit of drama, but I feel like when they see the first ace, you know, the rest they know is coming, and I feel it's a much bigger reaction if it's all at once. Otherwise you're getting 4 little reactions. You're getting the reaction to the trick broken up into 4 pieces if you reveal them one by one. If you turn them all over together, then you get the gasps, you get the amazement, you get people grabbing the deck. Where are the other aces? Are there any others? You know, are these cards funny cards? Are they marked? No, they're not. This is a real magician fooler as well, because it's such a simple principle. Why would you have to memorise the position of the aces? Why not memorise the card above? And for some reason, when you perform this to magicians, they don't think of that, even though it's such an obvious principle. It's one of the first tricks that people learn, where you know, a card is picked, and you secretly look at this one, so I know that the card I'm looking at is the 10 of Spades, and then I go through, and I find the 10 of Spades, and I know that this was, you know, that's one of the first tricks you learn of the key card. And this is just using that principle 4 times for the aces. One problem I have with tricks that require cards to be dealt is that it can be quite boring. If there's a dealing process in a trick, I often think that's kind of boring and you can lose your spectators. And I often did tricks that involved, you know, cards being dealt. And what I try and do is fill that gap with talking, with presentation while I was dealing the cards, to try and fill an empty space. And it wasn't working. I still felt that my spectators were slipping away from me, that they were almost sort of getting bored in front of me. And I thought, how can I change this? And what I did was I shut up. I just didn't speak. I thought, I'll do this trick that involves dealing. It wasn't this trick, it was another trick, but it still involved dealing cards. And I just went quiet, and I just did the dealing. And suddenly, because I'd been talking throughout all my other tricks, as soon as I was quiet, people were leaning in and they were going, what's happening here? Why is he suddenly not talking? And that created silence in the audience. Obviously you need the right audience, but they were suddenly quiet and they were leaning in, and there was tension, there was drama happening in the trick. And that was really, really interesting, because I thought, if I don't talk, it'll be boring. And because I've been talking in all my other tricks, I need to talk in this one as well. And I don't think that's right. I think every so often, if you're a magician who presents and talks like most magicians do, I think you should have one trick where nothing is said. Just let the magic speak for itself in one trick. Thank you very much for choosing to learn this trick from me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm currently working on a new series of tutorials that involve absolutely no props whatsoever. That's a daunting thing for a lot of people, performing with no props, because often we can sort of hide behind our cards and our coins, but when it's just you and the spectator, that's a whole different thing. So expect tutorials on some propless magic very, very soon. If you enjoyed this video, then you know what to do. Make sure to click the thumbs up button down below on your way out of this video. That means that more people can see it and enjoy it like you did. And you can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And I know that a lot of people sort of come back and keep watching the tutorials. I can tell from like the analytics. People come back and watch them over and over again, but don't subscribe. So if you do find yourself coming back and watching my tutorials, then make sure to subscribe. It's just an easy way of getting all the tutorials in your subscription box. The Dystopian deck will be launching on October the 1st. That is the final date. October the 1st, the Dystopian deck, my deck of cards, will be launching on Kickstarter, so make sure to expect that sometime soon. Alright, enough talking, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.